morning. Like everyone else almost in America, or at least 50% of us, we're having a heat wave here in New York. And because I'm going up to the Berkshires tomorrow, I'm not going out. So my advice to everyone, stay hydrated. You don't feel hyperthermia, which is heat exhaustion. So please, if you're living in a tree desert, hydrate. You can't believe how much water we really do require to stay all right in the heat. In Greece, tourists are vanishing and dying because it's too darn hot. That's climate change for you folks. And our wars and our petty politics are not helping us one little bit. Our economies could all be chugging along a hell of a lot better if we didn't have wars, if we didn't have partisan politics, and we could concentrate on rewilding our countries, just like they're doing across the globe and in some states, even in America. But I'll get back to that because I've got politics on my mind. I read the papers daily about what's happening in Israel. It bothers me because Israel has been in my heart and in my mind since I'm a little girl, since it became a state. And I was a young kid then, but I remember. So my love of Israel goes deep. And what I see is I see them being goaded into war with Gaza. When I know in my heart and in my mind there's only one way out. That's a ceasefire, return of the hostages, getting rid of this current administration because they're terrible for the people of Israel. The soldiers know it's a no-win situation. I don't know why Israel's calamity reminds me of the songs of the South and Brer Rabbit just begging somebody to put him in the briar patch. And that's Sinwar, goading the Israelis, saying, I'm not giving in. Well, by golly, somebody's got to make the Gazan people stand up and say they've got enough. Let the Gazans take care of Sinwar. After all the devastation, after all the massacres, after all the murders and traumas on both sides, it's enough. If there could be a Good Friday agreement between the Protestants and the Irish in Ireland, there can be a Good Friday type of agreement in Israel between the Gazans, the Palestinians, and the Israelis. No one else is going to help them besides themselves. And Israel, if you think you can overcome Lebanon and Iran together, I think you should think again. Who needs it? Put the displaced people back in their homes and make a diplomatic settlement with Lebanon. You don't want to fight more wars. How much trauma can the people take? Everyone's army needs a rest, and Israel's army needs a rest. It's a small country. Everyone knows each other. Everyone is connected to one another. You gotta stop. And if Bibi doesn't see it, somebody's gonna take the reins and build a coalition to get Bibi out of office. He's there, just like Sinwar, hawks for war. And they've learned no lesson from us in Iraq or Afghanistan. Get out. You need a ceasefire. You need the hostages home. I'm reading there may be 50 alive. The rest, may their memories be a blessing to everyone who loves them and to the country. Take them home and call it a day. And have weeks and weeks of mourning, because you're going to need it in Gaza and in Israel. Call it quits. It's enough carnage on both sides. So, figure out the day after, folks, and get to it as soon as possible. You can't afford to waste more time, and saber rattling doesn't do any good. And in my own country, well, I've got Trump on my mind. I know very well who I don't want to run this country, especially since I know the big money corporations are supporting him. They never make enough money. Never. Evidently, when you're making $34 billion, that's not enough. So, it looks like there's no limit to the power of the CEOs of the corporate world. And that's what's running our nation. We've surpassed every other nation in oligarchs. We've got them galore. We're the 1920s and the 1930s all over again. In Wisconsin, they need to clean up the PFAS chemicals. They can't, because the Wisconsin GOP says you can't clean it up unless you give the corporations immunity. Really? They cause the PFAS chemicals. I've always thought there should be a public-private partnership. It shouldn't all come from us in the middle class and our taxes, or the poor people. It should come from those who caused the problem to begin with and knew there was a problem. When I hear Trump say, "Drill, baby, drill," oh my God, it causes my skin to crawl. Because right now, with this heat wave, I'm not going out. And I'm lucky. I have air conditioning. We don't want to be on fossil fuels. No siree. We've got to get to non-carbon fuels. Solar, wind, hydrogen, nuclear. I keep saying, why aren't we going to thorium? Nobody's written a book or any article on why thorium's not acceptable. It would use up all of our nuclear-powered waste. It's a win-win. They're not even doing the technology on it. You've got natrium that you can use, natrium salts. Do something. Because our corporations are sitting so pretty and are being promised so many more tax decreases, they don't need to compete with anybody. And so we're at a standstill when we should be a technological powerhouse. Our kids are not going to college because there are no good jobs for them. But there should be jobs aplenty. We need infrastructure. We need Wi-Fi. We need solar-powered AI. We need science and math. Stop the monopolies. Stop Trump because he's fueling a monopoly culture. And let's get back to government and governing and institutions and having a good education for everyone. I know in my heart, in my mind, that I'm right and Trump is wrong and the corporations are wrong and Bibi is wrong and mitigating climate is the only way to go. And it will produce inventiveness like we've never seen before if we encourage it. Stop the partisan politics all over the world, and let's get down to business and saving people's lives and our planet. Thank you.